Hey, what's up, SpongeBob fans? Now before we draw Barnacle Boy, let's go ahead and start off with a character breakdown. Hey guys, welcome back. Here's another breakdown, and we're looking at Barnacle Boy, another amazing character in SpongeBob, really well. And if you don't know Barnacle Boy, well, he's basically like Aqualad. And Aqualad, yeah, it's a pretty funny character, and it's just really cool. He's like a retired Aqualad, and we're gonna break him down. And if you look at him, he's already really close to Squidward. Except not a watermelon head. He has a circle head, but he still just got that nice pickle nose. Great character design on this one, and just a really awesome character. So let's go ahead and get started with this breakdown. And first thing you're gonna see really right there is a lot of circles in this one. A lot of circles and a lot of like ovals and bean shapes. And let's break them down so when we start drawing him, we can remember them. Like, you know, like when you close your eyes and you can't really see the character, but you remember, oh, circles, bean shapes, then you can go ahead and start drawing him. And let's go ahead and take a look. Well, let's go ahead and, well, I say this every time. Why? Because my art teacher told me 1,000 times, I'd be drawing, Kenny, you're drawing too tight. We want to draw with our arms. So look at this motion right here. I want you guys to practice that as well. Every time in school, I'd always go back to this because I was never trained. You know, I kind of trained myself when I was a kid. I loved to draw comics and always drew the wrong way. So I'm trying to teach you the right way. So no matter what age, you can always, you know, change your habits. If you're 10 years old, or if you're watching this and you're 25 years old, or 30, or 80, there you go. You can teach an old dog new tricks, right? So let's go ahead and start off with this circle right here. And, you know, let's get loose with your circle, loose with your wrists and hands. And there we go. So we have a big circle. So no matter what position Barnacle Boy is, you know his head is a circle. We just want to go ahead and map out the line of his, you know, of his face. So just picture this. All right, here we go. So my head is a circle. Then, you know, we know that we're going to draw the line on my face right here, facing that direction. So Barnacle Boy is kind of facing this way. So then we'll have a line right here. That's going to separate his eyes. And then we want to draw another line where his eyes go, and it's kind of at the top of the head. So then we know we have that mapped out, and we know where his eyes are going to go. And a couple more circles. Remember, get loose with it. Don't draw with your fingers, because your fingers don't have that many joints in them. You've got a wider range of motion with your arms. So, and then there we go. We have 2 circles for his eyes. And what's cool, we have that line where he put on his face. Well, that's where his little, you know, like the strap for his mask goes. So then, and now here comes the pickle nose. Shout out to anyone who has a pickle nose. I don't know if you do, that'd be cool. So then let's move on to his body, his neck. Got a really thin neck. So that's just kind of like a thin rectangle. And then his body's really cool. It's got a weird motion. Let's go ahead and draw the line of action. And the line of action tells you where the character's facing and what his motion is. And basically, the cool thing to do, you can almost draw the character's just basic motion in one line. So let's go ahead and recreate it here. So his head is facing this direction, and his body's kind of arcing, and it goes all the way down to his leg. Then we can draw his other leg, and we can draw his hands. I know it seems a little weird, but that's actually what we learned in life drawing. And life drawing is a class you definitely got to take. It's going to improve your drawing skills so much. So that's the basic motion of his body right there. And, you know, so that's something you want to do when you're drawing, you know, practice stick figures. I mean, because that's really cool, because that's going to help you in your mind recreate, like, you know, Mermaid Man or Barnacle Boy doing a kick. You know, with that stick figure, you already have the, like, you know, the skeleton of your character lined out. So let's go move on to his body. Well, his body is in a kind of a bean shape. So we can draw a nice bean shape right there. And if we're drawing it from the front, you know, it's right there. And then we can, his pants are right there. And his legs are real simple shapes. They're just these little tiny, really thin, these little really thin rectangles. So let's go ahead and move on to his arms. Like I said, the appendages in SpongeBob, they're always really thin. So you want to just, you know, make sure you're just loose with your drawing so you're not doing some scratchy lines. And his gloves, well, they're basically like these long ovals, almost like his body. So you remember when we're drawing his hands, we're gonna draw these long ovals. And he's got regular digits, so like some of the other characters have, you know, just pads and stuff like that. And you just gotta map those out. So however I usually map them out, I usually map out where I want the fingers. So I'm doing this line right here, and that way it's gonna make sure you don't have a finger longer than the other. So let's take a look at this line, you know, and like, oh, I want this finger to touch here, this finger to touch here, and that way you're gonna get your fingers looking in the correct way. And his feet, well, it's another, you can do a square for this one, and another kind of square for this one. And then you can clean it up. Let's go to red. So we have a square, as you can see, and then from there, we can use the red and kind of just fix, you know, the line. So I'll show you how you can turn like a square into a correct figure. So we have a square, and usually using this technique is going to make your character equal on both sides. So a lot of times, you know, you might not draw the character just like that. You're like, well, how is that a square? How can I turn that into, you know, a rounded shape? So we're going to go to this corner right here and break that down so we have it even on both sides. So then, as you can see, we have that right there, and it's even. So if something is like kind of like a long oval, we can use a square to block it in, and then we draw a line down the middle, and it's even. Because a lot of times that's what happens when we draw. We kind of don't draw the character from the inside out, or we even think that the character can actually be a box, and we can use that technique on, you know, both sides of the box to make them even. Because a lot of times when I used to draw characters, they would look kind of cool, but they would be a little wonky. So remember these techniques when we're going to start drawing Barnacle Boy. Remember, circles for the head. We want to remember the line of action, which way he's facing, and what's he going to do. So remember that. His body is a long bean shape. His arms, well, they're basically these long ovals. Same thing with his feet and his fins. They're kind of like long ovals. And we can use squares to map that out and then round out the edges. And you have erasers. So remember, when we use that square, we can round out the edges and then we can just erase. So let's go ahead and show you. Let me get my eraser here. And I can erase, you know, those edges right there. And, you know, we'll have a nice round shape. Oh guys, I want to thank you for joining me in this character breakdown of Barnacle Boy. In the next video, we're going to take all what we learned, and we're going to apply it, and we're going to draw Barnacle Boy. And then after this, I want you to practice just drawing those shapes in different positions so you can learn to draw them when you don't have that reference image, like, you know, maybe another image of Barnacle Boy on your computer, or, you know, on a comic book. You know, the best way to practice and learn to draw is just to keep drawing without those images. Your drawings always aren't going to be the best. I mean, if you take a look at some of my early sketchbooks, you're like, whoa. And just keep going. Keep going. You're going to do a drawing that's really bad, and it's just kind of like a marathon. You got to keep going, because after more and more miles on your pencil, you're going to get better. I should bring one day some of my old sketchbooks. You will be horrified. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. You guys ready? I know I am. Let's go ahead and check out the next video. Hey, what's up, guys? I almost forgot. I want you guys to send me your drawings. That's right. You can email me a copy or do it old school and just mail it to me, and I'll post it up in my office. And I'll even make a video with your drawing. And if you want me or any of my art friends to teach you how to draw your favorite character, send those requests to request@mahalo.com. All right, guys. Thanks for watching.